For decades, theories about NASA's involvement with extraterrestrial beings have sparked debates among conspiracy theorists, researchers, and UFO enthusiasts. It's like, you look up at the stars and you can't help but wonder, are we alone? Are there other beings out there more advanced, maybe even watching us? And if they are, does NASA know about it? Is NASA truly hiding knowledge about alien life? Are they secretly working with extraterrestrials? Or is this just another elaborate myth fueled by science fiction and paranoia? We've all seen the movies, the grainy footage, the blurry pictures. It's easy to dismiss it, but what if there's something more to it? In this deep dive, we will explore various claims, possible evidence, and NASA's own actions that have led to these suspicions. We're going deep down the rabbit hole, folks. We're talking about the big questions, the ones that keep you up at night. So buckle up because this is going to be a wild ride. Now, some people might think, why would NASA, the guys who are supposed to be the authority on space, why would they hide something this big? Well, think about it. What would happen if the world found out we weren't alone? Panic in the streets, governments collapsing, the whole 9 yards, but here's the thing, NASA hasn't exactly been quiet about trying to contact extraterrestrial life. In 1972 and 1973, they launched Pioneer 10 and 11 respectively. These spacecraft carried gold-plated aluminum plaques with a message for any extraterrestrial life that might stumble upon them. These Pioneer plaques showed a naked man and woman, a map of our solar system, and some other symbols that were supposed to represent humanity. It's like a cosmic message in a bottle, right? And then you have the Voyager Golden Records, launched in 1977. These things were like the next level of cosmic mixtapes. They had music, greetings in different languages, even sounds from nature. It was like a sampler platter of Earth, designed to give any alien civilization a taste of what we're all about. But again, some people believe these records weren't just about cultural exchange. They think they were part of a larger effort to communicate with extraterrestrials that we're already in contact with. They say these records contained specific messages, coded messages that only these advanced beings could understand, and that's what we're going to do in this series. We're going to look at the evidence, the testimonies, the leaked documents, and we're going to ask the hard questions. Let's talk about the people who've been up close and personal with space astronauts. These are the folks who've seen things, experienced things, that most of us can't even imagine. One of those astronauts was Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon. Now this guy, he wasn't some fringe conspiracy theorist. He was a respected scientist, an aeronautical engineer, and a goddamn moonwalker. And he came right out and said it, aliens are real, and they've been visiting Earth for a long time. Mitchell claimed that he had seen UFOs during his time with NASA, and that he had spoken to high-ranking officials who confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial life. He even said that aliens intervened to prevent a nuclear war between the US and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Then you have guys like Gordon Cooper, one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts. This dude was a legend, a pioneer of spaceflight. And he too claimed to have seen UFOs. In fact, he said he saw a whole fleet of them while he was piloting an F-86 Sabre jet back in the 1950s. Cooper even testified before the United Nations about his experiences, saying, "I believe that these extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews are visiting this planet from other planets, which are obviously a little more technically advanced than we are here on Earth." Now, you might be thinking, Joe, these guys are just a couple of astronauts, maybe they were seeing things, space madness or something, but here's the thing. Mitchell and Cooper aren't the only ones. There are dozens of other astronauts, cosmonauts, and military pilots who have come forward with similar stories. These are people who have been rigorously tested, both physically and mentally. They're trained observers, and they're telling us that something strange is going on up there. Alright, let's talk about the moon. This big, glowing rock in the sky has captivated humanity for centuries. And ever since we first landed there back in '69, it's been a hotbed for conspiracy theories. One of the most well-known stories is the alleged UFO encounter during the Apollo 11 mission. Rumor has it that while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were making history on the lunar surface, they weren't alone. Some people believe that Armstrong and Aldrin saw something else on the moon that day, something that NASA didn't want the public to know about. There are stories of radio transmissions being cut off, of coded messages being sent back to Earth, and even of Armstrong having a complete mental breakdown after the mission. And then there's the story of Apollo 20, the alleged secret mission to the moon, that NASA never officially acknowledged. According to this theory, Apollo 20 was a joint US-Soviet mission that took place in 1976, and its purpose was to investigate a massive, cigar-shaped object that had been photographed on the far side of the moon. There are photographs of the alleged cigar-shaped object on the moon, photographs that were supposedly leaked by former NASA employees. And these photos, they're not blurry, grainy images. They're clear, detailed, and they show something truly extraordinary. There are testimonies from people who claim to have worked on the Apollo 20 mission, people who say they saw the object with their own eyes, who say they even went inside it. Now look, I'm not saying any of this is definitely true, but I am saying that it's worth considering. Because if even a fraction of these stories are true, then it means that NASA has been hiding something huge from us. Alright, let's talk about something that's happened a bunch of times. NASA live feeds getting cut off right when something interesting shows up on camera. I mean, come on, how many times does this have to happen before we start asking some serious questions? It's like clockwork, man. Astronauts are doing their thing, spacewalking, doing experiments, whatever. And then boom, something unexplained appears in the background. It could be a strange light, an unidentified object, something that doesn't look like it belongs there. And what happens? The live feed gets cut. Now NASA always has an explanation, right? Technical difficulties, they say. Lost signal. But it's happened so many times that it's hard not to be skeptical. It's like they're trying to hide something from us, like they don't want us to see what's really going on up there. One of the most famous examples of this happened back in 2005 during the STS-114 mission. Astronauts were doing a spacewalk, and the live feed was being broadcast around the world. And then, it happened. A long, cylindrical object appeared in the frame, seemingly moving alongside the space shuttle. It was only on camera for a few seconds before the feed was cut, but it was enough to send the internet into a frenzy. NASA, of course, dismissed it as space debris, but a lot of people weren't buying it. Chapter 5: The Tall Whites, NASA's Alleged Alien Alliance. Okay, strap in folks, because this is where things get really weird. We're gonna dive into one of the most controversial and intriguing theories out there. The idea that NASA is not only aware of extraterrestrial life, but is actively cooperating with them. And not just any aliens, mind you, but a specific group known as the Tall Whites. Now the Tall Whites, as the name suggests, are described as tall, humanoid beings with pale skin and large black eyes. They're said to be highly intelligent, technologically advanced, and according to some, they've been working with certain governments, including the US government, for decades. The theory goes that the Tall Whites have provided technological assistance in exchange for something that they need from us, perhaps resources or maybe something even stranger. Some even believe that they're involved in a sort of cosmic exchange program where they share knowledge and technology in return for access to our planet and its inhabitants. Chapter 6: NASA's Alien Hunt, a cover story for hidden knowledge. Alright, so NASA is constantly searching for extraterrestrial life, right? They've got rovers on Mars, telescopes scanning distant galaxies, the whole 9 yards. They're pouring billions of dollars into finding out if we're alone in the universe. But here's the thing that always trips me out. What if they already know the answer? What if all this searching, all this exploration is just a big old smokescreen? Think about it. If NASA already knows that aliens are real, if they've already made contact, why would they tell us? Chapter 7: Ignoring the Warnings. Is NASA playing with fire? Now, not everyone who believes in aliens thinks they're friendly. Stephen Hawking, one of the most brilliant minds of our time, he was pretty vocal about his concerns about contacting extraterrestrial life. He believed that if a civilization advanced enough to reach us ever decided to pay us a visit, it might not be for a friendly chat and a cup of tea. Hawking compared it to the arrival of Europeans in the Americas. It didn't go so well for the Native Americans, did it? And if we're talking about beings with technology thousands, maybe even millions of years ahead of ours, well, let's just say I wouldn't want to be around for that house call. But here's the thing. Despite these warnings, despite the potential risks, NASA continues to send signals out into space. They're like cosmic postcards with our address on them, floating around in the vastness of space. The truth is out there. Keep searching. With so many testimonies, leaked footage, and unexplained events, it is difficult to dismiss the possibility that NASA knows more about extraterrestrials than they reveal. I mean, you've seen the evidence, you've heard the stories. It's not as crazy as it sounds, right? Are they protecting the world from mass panic, or is there a larger, more sinister agenda at play? Are they working with these beings, or are they hiding something even bigger? These are the questions that keep me up at night, man. One thing is certain, our fascination with extraterrestrials will not fade anytime soon. As technology advances and space exploration continues, the truth may finally come to light. Until then, we can only speculate and analyze the breadcrumbs left behind by those who dare to question the official narrative. For more exciting videos about aliens and their mysteries, subscribe to the Secret Organization YouTube channel.